Man, I feel like every fight on this card so far, including the main event between Volkanovski and Sung Jung, is basically a way to try and figure out if a massive underdog can pull off the upset. That seems to be the gist of this entire pay-per-view. And the reason I say that is because Alexander Volkanovski is 100%. I mean, if I'm just throwing a dart at the wind here, he is at least a minus 300 favorite, and he deserves to be. Whether that's the opening line or not, it doesn't matter to me because I believe public will drive those prices. And the reason I say that is because when you watch what Volk does in the octagon, and it takes me back to what we kind of watched during the Gilbert Burns breakdown, you know, it's chip mentality is a completely different breed of animal. It's what gets you out of Brian Ortega submissions with your life hanging in the balance, right? That's the part that I love about Volkanovski is you look at the skill and that's what you have on paper, but then you look at the will to win. You look at the heart. You look at the durability. Those are the characteristics for me that make a champion. Coming back from adversity, you know, I think even Gilbert touched on that, but you see him do these things just within a fight. Max Holloway is, you know, probably, I'm going to say pound for pound, my favorite fighter. You know, the Glover Teixeiras and the Charles Oliveira's of the world definitely get my, you know, GOAT, personal GOAT title. But outside of that, I mean, you think about guys like Volkanovski taking on those big fan favorites, and he's always going to have some negative notoriety towards him, right? You beat the people that everybody loves. Yeah, he did all right. Oh, I know. I thought Max won. There's always going to be that crowd, right? And with Volkanovski, I'm sorry to say, when close fights are close fights, they're close fights. Like, we don't need to sit there and talk about someone getting robbed. That is an opinion. Judging is subjective. That is the biggest problem in MMA right now, is judging is subjective. So for me, you look at this fight and you think, well, what are the ways that Sung Jung can win? And you look at all of his old fights in the past. And for me, I really enjoyed seeing his boxing come back to life. I enjoyed seeing the durability be there. It's one of those things where it just takes time to, I think, get to a UFC level. And in his last fight, I mean, it's just been an interesting approach for Sung Jung after everything with, you know, having to go into the army and yeah, fight for his country, right? It's, if you're a long-time zombie fan, you probably remember the fights from back in the day, and those are the ones that put him on the map. You know, it's Leonard Garcia, yeah. That is considered, you know, historically goated. I mean, as the best, I would say rivalry. These guys went to town, I think, in WEC, and then they fought again in the UFC to kind of carry over that legacy. So he's just such a fan favorite, and I think Volkanovski's, you know, biggest downfall might be that he has to beat all these guys that have such long-standing fan bases. But champs do what champs do, and business is business. So Sung Jung, what does he need to do? Keep those feet moving, man. Use that creativity on the feet. Use those big, powerful strikes. I mean, the one thing we can say about Volkanovski is he takes damage. I think his ability to push through, show his durability, is his best feat. I think I just said that. So Sung Jung has to break through that wall as best as possible. Now, if I'm Volk, I'm putting this guy up against the fence and putting him on the ground as quickly as possible, right? I think the grappling and the wrestling ability of Volkanovski is going to nullify any attempt at really creating submission slash, you know, any of those big transitions that gets Sung Jung into a dominant position. I think it's going to be a try his best to crawl to the fence and the classic style of getting himself up that way. But Volkanovski's clinch game, his ground game, even his striking, man, it's just so on point. He attacks the lead leg really well. I think even for Sung Jung, it's kind of the same thing, right? Get those legs out from under him. I think Volkanovski's just so compact, low to the ground, center of gravity is so good, and he can go for 5 rounds with ease. So you got to tire him out. You got to land those big power punches. Attack the body. Get him break him down before you start, you know, just throwing caution to the wind and try to land those big blows. Save those knockout punches for rounds 4 and 5 if you lose 1, 2, and 3. You know, keep that gas tank ready to go for all 5 rounds. And I think we're going to see an absolutely beautiful fight. I don't want to see, if I'm being honest, I don't want to see the zombie get finished in any way. I think that this is what like historic fights are made of. Durability meets creativity meets just the will to win. And both these guys have it in just gallons. So I'm going Volk as a minus, 253. Let's go minus 300. Chances are it's probably a lot higher than that by now, I'm going to guess. But I think minus 300 is a good little floor, if you will, to see this line. And, I mean, I guess that's the biggest dog on the card, right? Minus 430 opener for Volkanovski. He is now a minus 800. Sung Jung opens as a plus 330, and now he's as high as a plus 500. I almost look at the lines on this card, guys. The last 3 fights have favorites of above minus 300. And the dogs, Gilbert Burns, Aljamain Sterling, and the Korean zombie, Sung Jung. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't make a better card than this for fight fans. The fact that we get back-to-back-to-back versions of that, led off by the Mackenzie Dern, Tisha Torres pick'em fight. I think it's going to be an absolutely ridiculous card. It's going to set the trend for the rest of the year, and if you can't tell already, I'm super pumped for it. So, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that comment section. I would love to hear what you guys think for these upcoming fights, but yeah, man, it's going to be super fun. So stay tuned, and let's have some fun this week. Peace.